It is the season for yearly tests if that is something that your state requires. I have the easy button for you on an online software that I love. I will tell you all about it and how it can help your homeschooling next year. But first, let's jump into a review from Millie Bradshaw. I so appreciate when you guys drop me a review and leave me 5 stars when you're loving the content. It really helps me to bring you guys more what it is that you're loving and needing. So, Millie, I've been homeschooling for 13 years and I have still gained some really great insights from Kelsey. She speaks from the heart with such a calm, cool demeanor, and if you're thinking about homeschooling, give her a listen. Welcome to the Confidence to Homeschool podcast with me, Kelsey Shalane. I'm a lover of all things Jesus, an exceptional wife to an exceptional husband, and a homeschooling mama of 4. Together, let's trade in those insecurities and questions of if you can homeschool for the confidence that homeschooling was the right decision for you. Through simple homeschooling techniques, growth in God, and small mindset shifts, we have the power to change generations and set our kids' hearts tuned to the Lord and a love of learning. So grab your lukewarm coffee, because who gets to drink it hot anyways, and let's shave off years of that how to homeschool learning curve. All right, friends, so let's dive into my feelings on testing. Once upon a time, I was really aggravated that we had to test. I felt like it was another way that Big Brother was looking over our shoulders and almost like I was being micromanaged by all of the rules that I had to tick off each year for choosing to homeschool. I just don't always love to follow rules. So with that being said, in North Carolina, we have a couple of things that it is that we have to do. We have to file an intent to homeschool by the age of 7 years old. We have to open a school, create the school's name, all of these things, and we have to do yearly testing. I, like I said, hated it, but whenever I found this software at homeschoolboss.com, it took me from absolutely hating the experience to really enjoying the fact that I got to figure out where my child is excelling, where they're struggling. They broke it down into different categories. It was just a really cool experience. It took it from this thing that I just had to do that was going to tell me if my student was average or above average or whatever, to helping me plan out, map over the summer if I was going to do any extracurriculars with her and extra schooling with her, and also pulling in what am I going to do next homeschool year. So it was really nice to be able to have all of that as an option at my fingertips through this testing program. So that is one of the reasons that I recommend it. I absolutely love the fact that they give you such great information, and whenever they do the testing, you can actually call into them, get a live person to chat with, and they will give you all of the information and all of the rundown on what testing results you got or your child got. So they will literally walk through all of the test results with you, which is super cool and gives you such great information to take into the next school year with you. All right, so how does it work? I am going to go ahead and drop state requirements down in the description, just so you have those state requirements. You can check out whether your school or whether your state even requires testing or not. And this may be something that you want to do even if you are not testing. If you're pulling your child out of public school and you just kind of want to see where they're at, what they know, what they don't know, this may be one of those things that you want to just go ahead and do. I do highly recommend giving your kids a break in between pulling them from school and going ahead and starting the homeschooling process to just kind of defuse any feelings that they already have about learning. But this may be a great place to go ahead and jump in and just say, look, no pressure. I don't care what it is that you do. I don't care how it turns out. This is literally just me looking at how can I help you best, like take all of the pressure that those public schools use and put on these kids, take all of that off, and just please reassure your child over and over, like, this test is not defining. This does not say anything about who you are. So, with that all being said, my first tip to taking the test on this homeschoolboss.com website is to do the practice test. The tests are not timed, but you cannot help, and especially if the kid has not tested before, the wording can be a little confusing. So with Addison, her very first time, she crushed math. She is wonderful at math. And I did not do the test with her because I was like, she's awesome at math. It's just not even a big deal. And sure enough, Miss Priss got average on math. And I was like, well, I know she's well above average. And so I'm sitting here watching her take this test, and it was just the way that the wording was. And I'm like, you know this. And she would get it wrong just because she didn't understand the wording, and there was nothing I could do, and there was nothing I could say in order to be able to help her. So I do highly, highly recommend going ahead and doing the practice test with them before they jump into the actual test. So like with reading and English, I saw how important that was, and she got above the 75% range just from doing the test. So she was above average on everything. So it's awesome because as you go through the test, if you get a question right, it will give you an equal or a harder question. If you get the question wrong, it'll get you a equal or lower question, lower grade level question. And that kind of helps them to see, just right where you are. And so it's an adaptive test that will move up and down based on where you are, giving you a really, really good screenshot of what your child is doing, what they have going on, all of the things. Next, your results will be broken down into smaller categories so that you can see where they are needing that extra work. I highly recommend a more year-round schooling approach so that you can do those 4 days a week and build in any extra breaks. If you've got family visiting, field trips, days that dad is home, sick days, whatever it is. I took off one full summer one time, and going back to school that year, I highly regretted taking a break that long. So maybe you use this test and you see where they're falling behind, and you can just throw, some extra stuff in for the summer. Maybe you just use it for what is my curriculum going to look like next year. Is the learning experience that I'm giving to them the same learning experience that is working for them, or do I need to change it up? Are they more a kinesthetic learner where they need more hands-on stuff? Is this working for them? Is it not working for them? And this testing is great for giving you all of those feedback and that information. You can schedule your days for testing. Here in North Carolina, we're required to do math and reading and language. You can do all 3 of those together. You can break them up on 3 different days. You can break them up into a week to where you do one every other day. You can do it however it is that you want to do it and whatever is going to work best for you. Like I said, you can take breaks. The testing is not timed, so if your child needs a break in the middle of the test, that's totally and completely fine. It takes about 45 minutes to 60 minutes in order to complete the test, but they do encourage breaks or snacks or whatever it is along the way. So the pricing on it is math and reading are $60, language is $10, and then they do have an option for science, and that is $20. I don't personally do the science curriculum just because we kind of do science however it comes. We're outside a ton, we play a lot, and it is no weird thing at all that I see something outside the house, like a bird, and I'm like, come look at this. And then like we had turkey vultures outside of one of our homes, and I mean there would be 30 turkey vultures on the trees outside of this house. And we went into a whole unit study on turkey vultures, and we found out all of these things, like the turkey vultures put their wings out in order to absorb the sun whenever it's cold or whenever it's been raining. Like, we went into this whole unit study on turkey vultures. Is that going to be in a science test? Probably not. So I don't do science tests just because I don't personally follow a science curriculum like that. But if that's totally up your alley, go for it. So they even have options for packages. If you love knowing where your kid is and you love seeing them grow and all of the things, then you can do a testing package. It's $162 for the year, and they allow you to test 3 times a year. So for the fall, winter, and the spring times, and you get to do each of those tests. I told you guys that they are absolutely wonderful at walking you through all of the results. You give them a call, you get that live person, you get all of the answers that you're looking for. So for the day of your test, you'll just call in at your appointment time and they will have your directions on how to get set up. If you do take a break and it kicks you out, then they will you just call back in and they'll log you in. So that is it. That is how the testing is broken down. That is how it kind of works out. And I hope that you absolutely love and enjoy the program as much as I do. Please go ahead and send me any questions that you have. My email is in the description, and I would love to hear from you. Have the very best day. Hey friend, thanks again for joining me today on your journey to the confidence to homeschool. I hope this podcast blessed you with one more tool of success. If it did, please scroll down to the bottom of your screen and leave me a review. Share it with a friend. Just remember, confidence in anything takes practice, so let's grow.